What's going on, guys? Want to welcome you back. Hello. Listen, team ups and rivals, they're cool and all, right? But they're kind of been there and done that. What I'm addicted to is discovering two hero abilities when combined together make something great, make something completely busted. The ones where your opponents, they're not even mad. They just hit the GG in the chat and move on. And today I've got a list of combos that I think people are just not talking about. These are going to help you win more because you can get some insane team wipes and kills and just different advantages in rivals. But they're also just a ton of fun to pull off. Let's jump in. All right, so we kick things off with Moon Knight and Groot. And if you're like me at all, Moon Knight's ult is okay, right? It's fine. The moon haunts you, get a kill here and there. But a lot of the time, people kind of avoid it. And for Groot, unless you have a very good Groot, he's saying I am Groot a little bit differently, and that's about all that happens. But the beauty of this, and for the first tip, we got a banger, because the pros use it, but also Smojos like me and you can just pump this out in any rank match. This is probably one of the best combos in the game. We're gonna have a lot today that are the setup of the combo, and then the other ability is obviously the damage. And in this case, Groot with a 3.5 second hold combined with Moon Knight's combo is disgusting. I mean, you can team wipe them off the payload, off the point very easily, and there's nothing they can really do about it. Groot's combo can be used with way more than just Moon Knight. I mean, I've been playing it in the background, but like, look at this video. Look how fast these people just disappear from the video game. Now, obviously, Groot and Doctor Strange are kind of our two setup heroes, and we'll talk about Strange in a second. And Moon Knight's not the only character you can do this with. It is the one that the pros are using probably the most right now. But Namor is another excellent example that I'll bring up again today. But Namor's whale, combined with the initial damage of Groot, is a surefire way to at least get 3 to 4 kills. I would say that Moon Knight's a bit better because Namor also does the CC of knocking them down, and Groot's already doing that a bit, so you're kind of using two things at the same time. Now, next up, this is not an ultimate tip by any means, and it's kind of a smaller team up, but I thought this was really cool. It was used against me in a match, and then I was watching the replay, and I was quite impressed. Using Groot's walls with your own team's Venom is actually insane. You're able to look around the walls to see if people are coming, and you can use that surface to go and dive as Venom. So you're able to combine the two abilities quite easily, and you don't have to find a wall to dive in as Venom. You're able to just do a simple wall up, and then you can use Venom's kind of strike down for some damage. And so I thought this was just a cool one to mention. All right, guys, next up, we've got a lot about Loki. Listen, Loki is hated by some. Others, they think he's one of the better characters in the game. But what nobody can deny is just how impactful his ultimate is, especially combined with other ultimates. I've been on the kind of the fence of doing an ultimate tier list. Let me know if you guys want me to do that. But some ultimates are clearly way better than others, and Loki copying some of these is downright diabolical. Okay, so first up, obviously, guys, a couple Helas. You know, this is probably the most used that I see because you've got naturally the team up with Hela and Loki, and so that's kind of already available, and I've used this in my own matches plenty of times. Two Helas, though, you're going to get the point, you're going to get the payload. There's almost nothing they can do. Maybe Strange shield, but that's about it on one of them. But other great ultimates to use, double Hurricanes from Storm is almost impossible, and a really long charging ultimate, so to get it instantaneously is a huge like bang for the buck, completely busted when combined. But if you have not gone against two Winter Soldiers, two Loki Winter Soldiers, consider yourself on the other side. Consider yourself lucky, guys. Both of these, not only are you just getting insane arm and dangerous, you're getting again. If you haven't seen this, this is the playlist that these people are rocking out to. But the main like stupid thing about this combo is that it'll be marking these characters for Winter Soldier for both of them. So if they get the kill, they're able to wait for it again and then get the wipe. And so having two of these fly at you, you're almost certain to get kills and just get rolling with both of them, and is a huge team wipe potential. But what if I were to tell you, as crazy and strong as those are, the one that, again, pro players use in top elo and that I've used certainly plenty of times, and probably the best double ult in the game currently, is two Lunas. Luna's going to be in most of your matches, and using Loki to get another dance and providing nearly 20 plus seconds of invincibility for your team is like, you don't even need to do anything fancy. This is such an easy way to end a ranked game, to escort the payload, to, you know, get the point. Back-to-back dances is one of the hardest things to counter in the game. Hell, it's not even the hardest thing to counter. You can't counter it outside of like an Iron Man blast. So yeah, it's stupid. All right, so now we've got some fun ones with Doctor Strange, and there's a lot with him as a hero. Obviously, some of the stuff we mentioned with Groot can work with the AoE stun. Groot brings them more together, so better for things like Moon Knight. But first, I want to talk about Strange's portal. All right, so there's a few things that you can do with this. One of them, I don't even know if it's like really useful in a game, but it's definitely hilarious that you can pull this off. Look at this clip of Spider-Man pulling his opponents through the portal and dropping them to their death. I mean, talk about a way to get a quick pick. If they're on defense, you portal in, you don't even jump in, and then you just yank the tank and they go right down to their death. I'm going to remember this one. But on a more tactical and probably serious note, one of the most crazy abilities that if you're playing with somebody, you can pull off a lot, and it's just not utilized as much, is combining Scarlet Witch with Doctor Strange's portal. Being able to charge this up and placing that portal right at the perfect spot and Witch going through there is one of the harder things to deal with in the game. There's not a lot you could do. I mean, unless you see that their Witch hasn't ulted in a while and there's no TP for a while, there's no way to even really prepare for this. And if they're bunched together, they're all dead. Like, the clips here are just easy examples of how crazy this is. And whereas something like Magneto protecting Witch to be able to get the ult off, this is just so much better outside of like maybe the cooldowns not lining up perfectly. Now, obviously with the portal, you could do more than just this. I would say outside of Witch, probably the best one is the Iron Man ult, which if you guys saw my one tip for every hero, I believe it was in there. But using Iron Man's ult to shoot into that is something we see all the time in both pro games and also just high elo. If you haven't seen that either, again, consider yourself lucky, but it's happened in a couple matches that I've been a part of. But enough of the portals. Let's go and talk about his ultimate and how to use Strange's Agamotto to get some crazy combos. So obviously Groot has some similar stuff here, but the way that the AoE works is perfect for someone like Storm to set up and get a big hurricane that's a lot of spread damage, and they may even be out of the Agamotto, but by the time it takes a little bit to set up the Storm Hurricane, and for the 5 people that are playing Storm, really good to utilize this combo. Really, guys, it's pretty simple. Like, if you have Strange and Iron Man on a team, there's just no reason to be separating these ultimates. They work too well together. You're trying to accomplish the same thing. You know, you're not going to get the cheeky Iron Man ult, but this is something that's stupid strong, and when used together, you're gonna win way more matches. Now, bonus combo we're gonna talk about that's in the same realm of this, of gathering these people together and using one of the more busted ultimates in the game, like Iron Man, like Witch's ultimate. Both of their ultimates have been pulled off in several clips that are mind-blowing timing-wise, but so satisfying. Now, for Jeff, you can just spit the opponents off at a ledge, but sometimes you're not able to get to the ledge in time. And so you can, like the clip here, charge up your ultimate with Witch or just time the fire. And if the Jeff spits out these characters at the precise time, they're all dead. And there's truly nothing that they can do to counter this. This is just a great way to get a few kills too, instead of just going for the whole team wipe. And definitely one that I expect to see more in play. Now, those were a lot of the juicy ones. I don't know how many we've gone through, like 10 plus. But for some of the other really strong ones as well, Winter Soldier we just talked about, but his ultimate, if you're not able to get the team's health down in time, it's obviously not the best initiator, and sometimes, you know, your team's not doing enough poke damage. So combining 2 of these DPS ultimates that don't do a lot of damage, or in this case, let's talk about Venom, they do enough damage to kind of, you know, tickle the enemy, but using that combined with his arm and dangerous is really strong and not used enough. I would say off the top of my head, even though Psylocke has a very good ultimate for like squishies, using that on tanks or just using that on the entire team and following that up with a Winter Soldier is super valuable. But also things like Namor's Whale, which is going to get that CC set up, knocking them down and then finishing them off. It's very hard to get a full kill on a full health character all the time with Namor. It's more center mass. So combining these like lesser damaging abilities with the Winter Soldier might seem obvious, but I'm not seeing enough people do it. Now, we did talk briefly about Luna's ult, but the reason why this girl is banned a ton in higher elo play is, again, because of that ultimate and combining things like Punisher and Scarlet Witch. I was talking to one of the, right now he's, I think, second in the world in Marvel Rivals, and he said putting together Scarlet Witch combined with Luna's ultimate can be tough to pull off, but not at all, too. Like, it's really hard for the opponents to burst down that witch with constant heals, and you simply could just follow the witch to wherever her destination is for an easy win. Now, this is a bit more dangerous because obviously you need a lot of coordination, and Luna's ult is so good defensively. But combining these two could be really solid to pull off more witch ults. All right, quite a simple one, but again, gonna mention the obvious because we have to. We're talking about some of the more busted ones, and that is just Punisher and Rocket. Rocket is picked a good amount, and even more the higher ranks you get as the other supports are getting banned. Just be sure to save that infinite ammo, line it up, and enjoy the chaos, because if that guy doesn't even need to think about it, he's going to get the unlimited ammo and the extra damage and wreck shop. Now, on the note of Luna, I also just want to point out the ultimate CC team. If you don't know what CC is, crowd control, obviously. There are 3 characters that if you put together, there's more than this, but these 3, you can lock out most characters from doing just about anything in the game. All right, so if you have Luna Snow's Freeze, Mantis' Sleep combined with Peni's Web, you're able to bully not only flanks, but a ton of characters on point. And combining these abilities together, because they're all good heroes too. And so it's something that, you know, I also expect to see more. And it's happened to me. And I feel like, man, I couldn't even play the damn video game. But Peni's ult is regarded as one of the more like easy charging ults in the game. But it can be lackluster if your opponent kind of knows what they're doing, and or, you know, they can burst you down if you don't combine it with another distraction. And the perfect distraction is Captain America. Talk about 2 ults that are okay, but not fantastic. And with Captain America's complete kind of self-healing plus what he gives as a buff, combining these is great because what you can do is use Peni behind to set up all the extra mines that you have and kind of giving that pressure. And then Captain America is going to be pushing towards them forward, backing them into the mines. That's like one of the more key successful things to get it going. And I think Cap probably provides one of the better pressures. Of course, you can combine this with a lot of different ults, maybe, you know, even like Witch. But I love Captain America and this together. Super satisfying. Obviously, guys, a lot of these are just fun. And maybe you knew some of these, or as you think of it, it's like no crap cozy. But if I were to rank them to kind of pull off in game more, Groot and Moon Knight together is something that I would try right away if you haven't. And just try to do these setup ults way more. I saw it back in Overwatch. You got the Zarya doing, you know, her ult, and you can do other things. Not seeing it as much in Rivals. Do the Groot ultimate, do Doctor Strange, and then set it up with things like Thor for pretty easy stuff, or the more complex stuff like the portal with Witch is really good. So guys, that's what I got. Maybe you knew all of them, maybe you didn't know any of them, and I'm sure there's even more out there. If I left one off that you've been using, dude, let me know. I gotta know, so put them down in the comments below. We got a lot of good videos getting cooked up here on the channel, so if you don't want to miss those and you enjoyed this video and you're watching the content and you're part of the 90% that isn't subscribing, go ahead and subscribe down below. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Have a great one. Till the next one, happy rifling. Bye-bye now. Bye.